We got a lot of folks turning this week. I've seen some beautiful stuff come up on the Facebook um, page this week. Some nice art, and I emailed someone back. One of them, I want to see if he's there. I see he's not there, but his camera's lit. I see he's in there. But if you go to our Facebook page, you have seen it. It's a little jar that was turned. And last Wednesday night, we saw a little preview of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right, I'll tell you about it. Billy Burt, Billy the Outlaw Burt, turned a little piece that was a burl with some poured acrylic work with it. And he put it up on a Facebook piece this week to show about it, and did a little video on it and all. That is front page newsletter art. That is Billy. He's not sitting in his perch right now, so I can talk about him. But that is the kind of art we get here at Worldwide Woodturners. That is awesome work, really. And we all do this. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. When I first saw it, I thought that Dewey had something to get his hands in there, because Dewey does that kind of stuff. And it comes up with these pieces that just make you go, ooh, But Billy Burt, I mean, yeah, well, he did. But I'm looking at some of these pieces that we're all turning out. We're popping up all over the place. And we're turning out some pretty damn good art. And it's really looking cool. I'm playing around with a Chrombo to be put on our YouTube channel and to go on our Facebook channel, et cetera, featuring the artists that we're going to have, or the coaches. I want to turn it right, and I want to do this because I want folks to understand that the terms we're using are a little unique to what's going to happen at Level Up next September. I don't want to say we're going to have guest demonstrators, and I don't want to say we're going to have demonstrators or exhibitors or whatever. We're using the term coaches because we're going to actually have coaches. We're going to have folks that'll be there, step up and coach the people present into what is going to happen. The most boring thing you and I can go do is go sit in the back of a meeting hall and watch a guy 60 feet away on a monitor as he turns something and we can't see what his tool does. And there's a guy in the front that's, blocking the camera, and another guy that's doing this and this. That's a pretty rough time, isn't it? Well, I've always thought that. And mainly, I've always thought if I could just stand up there and watch him turn, I don't need to know all the steps that he's doing. I want to see how he turns or how she turns. Level Up's going to do just that. We're going to have these coaches show you how it's done, how the tool is held, how it's presented. It is not juking the sharp tool into a fast spinning piece of wood. That's got nothing at all to do with what you're up there about. It's how you present what tool, at what angle, for what degree, how you twist it, and the on and off switch is right there. It's not all this dancing and climbing on the lake and all that stuff. That's not going to happen. You're going to see what real wood turners do, and these coaches are not going to be performing for anybody. They're going to be coaching you, showing you how to turn this piece, showing you how to hollow something with a simple rig, so, not having to go buy $1,000 hollowing crossbar over a loop bar WDXR5, pull that thing and all that. No, you don't need all that. And they show you how to do it with tools that you can probably build in your own shop or create out of tools you already own in your own shop. So that's the tricks and what we're going to do at Level Up. If you're a current member, you've seen what we do here. And I'm very honest with you, our demonstrations aren't as polished as some people think they should be. I've heard that from folks. They say, can you get these guys? No, that would be a kind of against our grain. I don't want to go train demonstrators to show you the same thing time after time after time after time. I want you to see what actually happens, and you want to see what actually happens in their shop when they go turning. That's what you need to see. That's what you want to see. You want to see when they stick that tool in there, if it bounces back and kicks up, if it goes out of center, what do they do to save it? Can they save it? What's that next move? Did they do this? Did they do that? How many times have you forgotten to make that one little twist on a tailstock before you go to it? Or lock down that muscle bar, things like that. You will see that at level up. You will see some actual production and pieces of work being developed in front of you. And then you can do it. It doesn't happen a lot of other places. Well, it really doesn't happen anything. You'll be able
Hey,
to
Eddie,
do it. Yes, sir. Where?
you have a little bit of an echo on you.
I do. I don't know why. All right. I mean,
Can I just say, Eddie, if people want to see recovery type of work, go watch Doug Miller on a Tuesday afternoon.
oh, that's awesome.
Because Doug does his lives on a Tuesday afternoon. I usually hear for him, and over the past few weeks, Doug has had to do some very good recovery work on what he does with his lives.
Isn't that good to watch, though? It's good.
It is, and that's what I'm getting at. It is when you're turning wood. You can buy your blanks, you can cut your blanks, you can do everything like this. Doug tends to pick pieces out of his firewood pile and sticks them on the lathe on his live. And over the past few weeks, things have gone a little bit haywire. Some pieces have jumped off, but he has always made a very good recovery and made a very nice finished piece towards the end of it.
That's critical because you experience that sometimes in your shop, and you wonder, how can I save this? And I'm going to go back 4 or 5 years ago, folks. We had Cade demonstrating, and that's when Cash wasn't even born yet. He was doing a demonstration for us, and the piece blew up. Just pow, pow. That was it. Do you know he didn't blink? He really didn't blink. He's a true turner, a true craftsman, and he bore down and saved the piece and continued the operation just like nothing ever happened. Just worked right through it. He showed you that little bump in the road wasn't a trip for a stepper. That if that happens to me, I'm not going to throw that piece of wood away. I'm not going to get away from it. I'm on a lathe that's working. It's turning, it's spinning, it's everything's coming off. Hey, I got to make something. Yeah, I'm obliged to the god of wood. I got to do something right now, and that's what Level Up will help you with, because we're going to have all these people, all these minds, and the beauty of this is we're going to have all these minds, and it's not like we have a hierarchy of the blessed minds are going to be there. No, we have all of you, all your minds. And I want to hear you only make money if you hear the good, the bad, the ugly, you know how to sort it out. So and I was told one time they said, I was going to crank up my pressure pot tomorrow, do something. And somebody, and it was Kim Tippin, said, "Don't you dare touch that pot. You're not capable." And she's absolutely right. That was early in my recovery from my brain tumor, and I could not have processed what I needed to do. But she was honest with me. Don't touch that. And sometimes you need to be told that. Don't do that. Why? It's just a no-no. And you'll get those ideas and you'll see that. And there's nothing better than watching it by your peers right there, hands on. That's why I'm proud. Level Up, it's coming. It's a fantastic opportunity. And it is a boom or straight out your wood turning experience. I'm working on a promo right now to highlight parts that you're going to be seeing. And what I saw last week, I was really great. It was great that Dane teased me earlier. He said, you know, Trace is going to show us how to use a ornamental turning machine. In fact, better than showing us how to use one, Trace has built one to bring to that show. And oh, wait. Trace built a machine. Then this week I saw a little bit of video on it. Trace built the machine. Now I built Zilla. That was almost 20 years ago. And that took me 6-7 months. And I had never even touched a real ornamental machine before that. I built mine from photographs. And it took me forever to figure it out and work with it. And I thought, man, this is an opportunity that you can't pass up. Why? Well, maybe you don't want to have an ornamental machine. But once you take a look at this up close right there and realize this guy built this machine and you're good enough mechanics, you really are. Think how good a mechanic you are to be a wood turner. And I'm talking all around mechanic. You're going to go home and say, you know what? I can build a rig that I can do this and this and this and do some ornamental work on my machine. It can happen. It does happen. And you don't have to go buy any fancy gizmos and gadgets. All you gotta do is kick it in gear. But you've seen and you've been able to talk to somebody that can do it. So that's where I'm starting right there. And then I'm going to vary down. I'm going to go down the trail. Who's doing demonstrations for us and what their history is, where they come from, and what they're going to bring up. I can tell you right off the bat, and I think some of y'all here. I mean, I'm going to pick up my buddy Billy Burt, but I'm also going to go right to the Duxbury's. I mean, yeah, you got Duxbury, and then you got Lady Duxbury, and somebody said, well, that's Jim, no, that's Jim, his wife. I said, no, that's his wife and Jim. You got to look at it the right way. You got artist, mechanic.
You got it.
Yeah, see, and
Can I just ask Eddie, for the level up, for those of us, and I know that it's a while away at the moment, but for those of us who won't be able to make it over there, because I certainly won't, are we as a group, as the Worldwide Wood Turners, are we going to be putting videos out of that weekend?
Possibly. It's going to depend upon bandwidth availability we have up there and whatnot. So
and that's something.
Well,
definitely
even recorded stuff that can go onto the site.
I'm gonna say
we plan on doing some stuff. Whether everything is going to be recorded, I think that's a tall task. The most important thing is having our first one and getting through it.
But I think Wayne, I want to expand on what Dane's saying. Yes, we're going to get through this, but it is our first one. But we do not have a video crew. We don't have that type of background. But you know what? I see a guy right now. I'm looking at. Wait, let me count. Oh no! Wait. There's about 10 of them out there. Right there, right there on that one screen. About 10 of them that have cameras, and they could capture some of these pieces while they're in the demonstration. And then we can have a Dropbox for you to throw those demonstrations into. And then we can pull through them and probably do something with it. But you see, we can't run before we walk. And we're walking to Wisconsin. So that's in the plan. It can happen. And I'd love to see it. You'd love to see it. We'd all like to see it. But it's something we can venture into. And just somebody says, well, no, we can't do it. We won't have a video session. 5 years ago, we didn't have a video production crew. Hello. Um, look at us.
right?
We're all currently in video production, aren't we, folks?
To a point. So I will
Yeah.
say, that Wednesday evening, which will be the night before the shindig kicks off, or level up kicks off, on that Thursday morning. The meeting on September 16th, I will be hosting it from the facility up there, so you'll be able to get a first look around and how things are coming together, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be in early, especially all the ones that are coming up with laves and the majority of the coaches, getting their stations set up. So, definitely on the 16th, that's going to be an interesting meeting for us all. So,
We can only grow, folks. We can only grow, and we're going to grow with your help. Because everything Dane's talking about, that's all being put on by membership. We're not gonna go contact the productions crew and tell them.
no,
We're gonna recruit right there. So if you like this, Wayne, I love the idea. And I know the rest of you have been chewing on it a little bit, waiting for Wayne to ask. But here's the deal. Step up. Step up and never, in this club's history, never, ever be afraid to step up. It's your wood turning club. That is no BS. It is your club. We want to see it grow and go and rock it on down the road. We're doing something nobody else has done, and we're proud of it. And it's going to grow and go like you won't believe because of you. You right there. You're putting a stake in the ground. What we're going to build this thing is you're putting a stake in the ground. That's it. Oh, wait. Today I got a call from, again, I have an old friend that tracks what we do, but he can't get the weeks right. He called again today. Where the hell's the newsletter? He calls every other Wednesday and asks, where's the hell the newsletter? But he calls on the wrong Wednesdays. Newsletter's out next week. And I got good word that we need more photographs and more articles for the newsletter. Isn't that right, JJ?
Yes, sir.
We need it. And the articles are a big hit. I've heard from several turners, they like what's being generated in the articles because it's being written by wood turners. And easy to follow and understand because, I guess we're just talking wood turner talk. We're explaining it, shop talk. So if you got something great for the newsletter, boom, we got to have it. We got to get there. And we welcome it. And we have the hiccups fixed on the internet. Dave Rose did a wonderful job last week fixing it. Dave, good shortcuts on that little button I was talking about last week. Push one button on the desktop and boom, I'm in there. That's the way to do it. I found out that all my links got corrupted, just like all the other links get corrupted. I guess when you're a good show, people want to jump in and jump on board and try to cheat your audience away, your membership away. But Dave did a good job on it. We're back up, proud to go. And what's the name of that group that did all the ink pens they're giving away? It's on the front page of the site. They Polk wood turners. I thought I saw.
Oh, right. They did 200 pens, right?
Yeah. It's a good move. I like to see that because we're talking about that's freedom pens.
As a matter of fact, I want to apologize. That was supposed to be up on the 16th, I think, of last month. That's when I got it, but somehow or other it ended up in my junk directory in my email. So I have to adjust my junk mail so things don't vanish there. I apologize.
But that's an invitation to all clubs and all members. If you do something like that, we want to know about it. And hey, pictures are welcome. Photographs of what you do and where you go. If you do to the Bowl Saving Club, the Freedom Pens, the badge and balls, the honor thing, whatever, You do something like that for the good of your neighborhood or your community. We want to know what's going on. We'd like to see that. And we'd like to tell the world what you do. And that's what we're about. For information and to share information. I feel really good when I see that a club has done something like that. They gotten together and click it out. It's a shame that more clubs don't do that, but we're not here to train clubs. We're just here to show off clubs that do. It's a few minutes after the top of the hour, 6, and we're getting it to worldwidewoodturners.org's week. And this is where you get your wood turning information. We had a great demonstration lined up for later this evening. And we have a gallery. We'll take tips, hints, problems, situations, want to see what you're doing, want to see how it worked out, see what you saved. And we tease about all of it. Nothing really off limits here or sacred here. It's just we talk wood turning. So Dane, do we want to go to gallery or do we have something?
We have a few folks coming in for gallery already, so let's.
I like to see. I'm liking what I'm seeing in the audience already. I mean, I just saw Paul Hannity check in. So
Yeah.
I mean,
let's see what we can
things are going
squeeze
to
in.
pot right now.
Sure. You know, it's funny. I just wanted to say one thing when you were talking about, hearing from various folks about polished demonstrators. Last week, I received an email from somebody, basically stating the same thing. And my response back to them was, I see you in the meetings, but you've never once stood up to say you would like to do a demo. And of course, I never got a response. I never got a response back.
That's got to hurt to tell somebody that, that Dane, that's got to hurt them a little bit.
It does.
Yeah, it's got to smart them right upside of the damn head. Pardon me.
Right.
But
yeah, it's just keeping the same energy. Somebody wants to come back and discount somebody what somebody is doing. On their own accord, and doing an excellent job at it. But and you're always going to have those in the crowd that want to be the centers and denig what's going on. So it's I'll keep that same energy. I don't have a problem with it.
See, that's the difference between this club that we are part of and other clubs. Other clubs pay demonstrators to come in and do the demonstration. What we've got here is that we have people from the club coming in to do the demonstration free of charge. Yep. And whether they are experienced at doing demonstrations or not, they are doing it free of charge just to give us a demonstration on the night.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, for somebody to make that kind of comment on the week when we had my nemesis here, Mr. Jacobson, my outlaw buddy, he's a great guy. Me and him and Robin go way back. But somebody assumed that I didn't like him one time, so we couldn't get him to do it. But we just didn't have the schedule worked out, and he told us that it didn't work out with something he had going on. But for somebody to make a kind of comment on a week that we had Carl do a demo, Carl is world renowned for his demonstrations on YouTube. He knows how to handle it. He knows how to time it out and get it done. All right, what else do you want? Do you need dancing, a cane, a top hat, a little show dogs? What? I want to see a guy or a gal, fair, guy or gal, get up there and turn wood. That's it. That's what we all want.
Right.
And how to decorate it.
Good, bad, or indifferent, whichever, at least we got it going on, and 100%, they've all been excellent demos.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's got a different mind makeup of
I mean,
what
look,
they're
we-
expecting to see or
Learn-
what they're wanting to see.
We-
You know,
we've-
if it's not their cup of tea, stop coming.
We've let Doug Miller back a couple of times. I mean, look what he does.
Oh, I know, you know,
We
and
still let him back in.
you know, and he keeps signing up for them too. You know, we even let Matt Harbor, you know.
Oh, well,
putting him on
I
the
didn't want to go there.
Well, and the beauty is every one of the demos is on the website. So you
Right.
can always go
And
back
on
and
YouTube.
rewatch it. That's such a blessing.
Sure is.
It should be that almost should be illegal. You know that. There's some people that
Right.
say, how can y'all do that? Well,
Yeah.
when we started this, we said we were going to open the books. And we opened the books. Good, bad, indifference, ugly, smelly, whatever it is. It's still there
Here.
because, hey,
All right, so-
in your shop is good,
with
bad,
that-
ugly, or indifference or smells. Look
Right.
up to it, right?
Amen. All right. So with that, let's get into our gallery section here. Let's start with Mr. Slaughter. What you got, Dale?
Well, first off, I made another urn. This one was supposed to be for my golden retriever. My first golden retriever.
Oh,
First,
it's
one of the
beautiful.
first things I did is fill a crack. And with the pot with resin, the same resin that I coated it with, which is the Aluminite clear coat. I filled the crack with it and used some Eye Candy Pigments Gold. And I don't know if you can tell on the urn, but the clear coat that I coated it with
Lost
has-
audio. Well, lost audio.
No, he's fine.
I can hear him.
Okay, and there's some gold in the pigment in the clear coat that I used. I put some of the gold, Eye Candy Gold in it. It's not showing good in the camera.
Well, it looks like it's pearlescent with the gold tinge, is what it looks like. Look
Yeah.
beautiful.
I tried to put Jake in it when still in the bag, and the hole's not big enough with him in the bag, so I may have to pour him in it without being in the bag. Because right now he's just in an ugly plastic thing that the vet gave me years ago. And I tried to make a little rabbit, but his ears didn't turn out very good.
You'll do all right. He can lay an egg.
Fine.
Tail on him?
Yeah,
It's cute.
Cadbury rabbit.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
his tail. I've followed Rebecca DeGroot's video by making
Did you
two
do
eggs
a
and putting them together.
Did you do a stop motion one too?
No,
She did a gnome stop motion video. It was very entertaining.
no, and I just watched her video. I had seen them. I just wasn't sure how to make it, so I watched her video before I did it. I just got to figure out how to make better ears.
You'll get it.
He's cute.
It look cute.
Well, thank you,
I like it.
thank you. That's all I got this week. He took
All right,
longer
thank
than
you,
I
Dale.
thought he would. Just making the 2 eggs took me 2 hours. I'm not a very
Yeah.
fast learner.
Eggs can be tricky if you're not in the zone for eggs.
Yeah, Wayne could probably turn him in 15 minutes.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, sir. All
You're
right. Let's go to Mr. Nelson. Hey, Al.
Thank you, Dale.
How's everybody? Wayne, I'm
Doing
gonna tell
good.
you right now. You'll see everything I see if you want. I have my camera right here. Everyone I see, you'll see. We could work that one out. I think I'm gonna have a beer with everybody, so you'll have a lot of wine to drink. I haven't been in the shop all week. I just starting to feel a little bit better with 3 weeks ago with that lacquer. I found out I broke down. I went to the doctor's. I got some antibiotics. I'm here in the basement tonight, sitting down on the couch. This is something that I made a little while ago. It was a walnut bowl, and I funneled it. Oh, so you can see it. It was funneled. It is funneled, and I made one of those octopods for the feet to recover. And I think it turned out pretty good.
That's a good recovery, Al.
Looks nice.
Yeah, it fits together real nice.
Yeah, it did. I was surprised. I surprised myself. But
Yeah.
that's what I got. Like I said, I haven't been out there all week. I only think I went out of the house except to go to the doctor's the other day. But yeah, Wayne, I'll have my phone right here, and you'll see everything that I see.
Are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you,
Oh,
Al.
Hey,
No
hey, Al,
problem.
you need to bring. You'll have to bring your phone to Wisconsin, though.
I'm gonna bring my phone to Wisconsin.
All right. Hey, can you hold that piece up again?
talking about.
Talking to me?
Oh, I know. I'm just being facetious.
No,
Oh.
I know that.
We'll have to teach him how to use it. Which direction to hold it.
Can you hold it back up, Al.
I'm on this phone every Wednesday night. Here's where I am, with my phone. So
Show your
Nope.
piece now.
sure.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I like that.
You know, it would be a real eye popper for that if you took some copper wire and went around that seam.
Around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Just
right.
yeah,
Copper.
just at the bottom of the bowl there.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a
Right.
good idea. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll
Yeah, I
work
think that
on
would really make it pop.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're
All right.
welcome.
Okay, guys. Everybody have a good night. Everybody be
You
good.
too. You
All
too.
right.
Al.
Thank you, sir. And I'm glad you're feeling better, Al.
I am feeling better. I'll tell you that.
Well, you look better. You don't look as puffy as you did last week.
I was a mess, man.
Yeah, you were.
It's almost 3.5 weeks. I couldn't breathe.
Right.
So
Yeah. You're on the mend. So that's good.
believe me, lacquer is nothing to mess around with.
Right. All
Hey.
right. Thank you. All right.
Hey, you
Let's
guys
go
have a good
to
night. Good night.
let's go to our editor in chief. Hello, Mr. Editor.
Howdy, howdy. I was just telling Gerald Avery that the Freedom Pens are in the next issue. We had an email flummox. They ended up in Dave's spam folder, so I never even knew they got mailed. But they're in the next issue. We'll go from number 1. So I've had a piece of cherry burl rolling around my shop floor. Not really rolling. It was about 45 pounds, flat, hacked off dome piece of burl, but rolling around the shop for about 5 years. And I've been waiting until the wood told me it was time to cut into it. And I finally put it on the bandsaw last week. And this is the first piece that came out of it.
Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
good.
Nice.
Leftover clarinet bell, and then the burl, and then ebony.
I love that finial, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Very nice.
Very
So
nice.
that's
Come
number
on now.
1.
JJ.
Real nice.
Then
Mm.
Then
I turned this piece.
That is marvelous.
It's
yeah, that's
beautiful.
good.
More
Sweet.
leftover clarinet bell, blackwood, and ebony.
That is just great.
And
Yeah,
then
totally jealous now.
yesterday, I have so much more of this burl. You guys are going to get sick of cherry burl.
Oh,
Yesterday, I turned the main piece
Mm.
here, and I finished the finial today. I got blown out of the shop by a thunderstorm yesterday.
You're
Oh,
the
no.
finial, you're the
That's
finial
the
guru guy.
I'm sorry?
You're the finial guru.
No, Mark Soleil is. I learned from him. But this is a recovery piece. you could see this crack here. I can actually look at the screen through that crack. I can see you guys through this crack. That was a piece of an inclusion, and it actually blew out. It got a catch as I was coming in from the top, blew that out, and just broke the tenon, shot the whole thing off the lathe. So I had to pick it up, figure out how to hold it again, and clean it up. And what I came up with was I turned it's drilled through at 3/8 of an inch all the way through. And I turned a tenon and just put it on the tenon. And the tenon I turned in a little piece of walnut that I have here. But what I ended up getting was a very faint rub line down in here that I then had to take about 30 minutes to sand back out because I had no way to reverse it again and recut that once I got the bottom fixed. So that was a lot of sanding to fix that rub line. So today, while I was figuring out how to take the tenon off the bottom of this foot, I thought about what had happened with that piece, and I came up with a solution. Now, there's a really great solution on the internet. You can just go to rubberchucky.com and buy a rubber chucky. But I wanted to finish the piece today, and I'm so broke I can't pay attention. So what I did was I took hot glue. This is held in the chuck with a 1-inch tenon. I turned a half dome here, and then I just built it up with hot glue, let the hot glue chill, 3/8 inch and slightly tapered tenon in the middle, let the hot glue cool down, and then very carefully cut the hot glue and made a nice round over so that we have a padded interface where when I jammed that into the 3/8 inch hole,
Oh, I get it.
that it touched here, had full support. I was able to not only take the tenon off, but sand completely with it the whole time on the chuck. And the hot glue it didn't leave a mark. It didn't leave any glue. So completely clean, basically inventing my own rubber chucky with hot glue.
That's
Okay,
cool, JJ.
There's a little tip.
question, the tapered part, is that what you use kind of like a jam chuck on your?
Yes. So that jammed into the 3/8 inch mortise that's holding the finial.
Okay, all right, hey, great.
Yeah. So that
Okay.
way, once I got the tenon on the bottom of the piece turned off, I still was able to turn it for sanding.
Wonderful.
That worked out absolutely perfect. So yeah, there's your homegrown rubber chucky.
All right.
Very nice, Walker.
Great tip on
Very clever.
making your homemade rubber chucky. Make sure you email that guy process that you used on that. See if we can't get it into the newsletter. I know the editors, so
You know what? I
pretty
didn't take
forgiving.
any pictures when I was solving this problem, but I will make another one and take pictures just to illustrate how to do that. Because
Okay.
I racked my brain a lot for what am I going to do so I don't mark it again? Rubber chucky. Well, I don't have a rubber chucky. What do I have that I can make one with? Hot glue.
There you go.
Right.
It's the
Perfect.
process.
Hey,
Well,
JJ,
you know,
what,
if the
JJ,
guy gives you a
what
hard
makes-
time,
what do you make your finials with? What kind of wood is that?
Ebony. They're all ebony.
Ebony? Okay. Mhm.
The only person I've ever seen turn finials like that good, JJ, besides you, is Cindy Drozda.
Well, thank you.
Mark Stillay.
That's Cindy and Mark are the target I aim for when it comes to finials.
Well, you're coming pretty darn close.
Thank you.
Compliment. All right, thank you, JJ. All right, let's go to our Master Blaster Webmaster for a web update.
I just wanted to share something. We were talking about the shortcuts. I want to apologize for several things. One, last week you almost didn't make it to the meeting, and that means that I want to make sure that never happens again. So I'm going to make sure you all know that if you go to the website now, just a little bit down the page, this thing about creating your own link. And I've got information for the iPhone, the iPad. And if you click down below, I'm not going to because it'll throw it to a different screen and you won't see it anyway. You'll find out how to do it for Windows and an Android. And it looks complicated. I wanted to point that out. It's not. It may say it has 10 steps, but I was really trying to make sure that everybody could do it and nobody got confused. So I specified every little thing, I think. So if you have problems, let me know. But I think I laid out every step and even told you where you needed to look, top of the page, bottom of the page. The only difference between the phone and the iPad is where it is on one particular share icon. So again, make a copy for yourself just in case the website ever goes down. You'll end up with something. It won't have this icon. It'll have whatever icon you give it. But other than that, you'll have a one button, one touch opportunity to get to the meeting no matter what the website's doing. At the same time, I'm going to say, please do come back to the website. We like to have you come visit so that you'll know when things happen, such as the Polk County, and I can't see it. It's covered up over here. Let me see if I can uncover it. There it is. And Lakeland Woodworkers Club that did 200 pens. And I'm again sorry, it did fall into my junk file, my spam file. That's been addressed. It won't happen again. That's really what I wanted to point out. Just remember those are there. We also have the content of the latest from various newsletters sitting here. So if you are looking for some of the stuff from the newsletters, not only do you find the newsletters on site, but you also find that I have little excerpts from them. And the reason for the excerpts, if you do a search up here, you won't find it if it's only in the newsletter. It has to physically be on the site or it's not going to find it. Anyway, so that's all I had to say for today.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. You did a great job.
Dave. Oh, and by the way, I keep taking this stuff out because it's become terrible. We have so many newsletters. We have so many chats. I used to list them here. It is now taking so long for this page to load that I made it a button. And I'm letting you know, due to the number of newsletters, if you click this, you're going to get a link with a list of all of them, but it's going to load a little slow. So be patient.
Not
the
sorry.
first time I clicked it, I thought, I think this thing's died. But no, it's just a lot of things to list. Okay. Have a good.
Works great. Thank you, Dave. I know
Thank you very much, Dave.
I know how much, how hard you worked on that from last Wednesday through Sunday. So I really appreciate everything you did on that. That's great. Good job.
Me too.
Good job. All right. So with that, let's go to Dewey. And then after Dewey, Matt, I will turn gallery over to you.
Got it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
This is the canner I showed last week, and I finally got the handle and the spout.
Man, oh man.
And
Man, oh man is right.
and was able to put a hinge on the top.
That is
I didn't
sweet.
even know I needed those.
That is beautiful.
And
Good.
Isn't it, though?
That is beautiful, Dewey.
so anyway, this is basswood and this is poplar. And so anyway, I got it finished. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Are you gonna sell
Dewey,
that?
that is
Dewey?
fantastic job. Just seeing that pot come from where you started to the end product here is just fantastic.
Yes.
So
Incredible.
I'm
Holy.
And that's all paint, right? That's not dye, that's paint, correct?
Well, what's underneath is black India ink. And then on top of that is bright red acrylic, which it was sprayed on, but it turned it dark because it was on top of the ink. And then the shiny stuff, the first thing I put on before I put on the handle and the spout was what I call shaded epoxy. Basically what it is, epoxy with the black transient dye in it. And what that does, that shadows everything, but you can still see some of the red poke through, kind of here and there, kind of up here too, and around down here. And that kind of gives it a depth and also kind of a mystique about it. And then once that was done, then I did all the engraving by hand with an air operated tool, dental tool. All of it is that. And I used for templates for this, I used that 3M 2080 tape, and I just lasered it with a bunch of little dots. So the pattern was a bunch of little dots, and I put the tape on it, and then I just carved through the little dots. Okay. And then come back and I filled it with gold embellishing wax. And you have to really put it on thick to make sure everything gets, so you waste a lot, but you fill it up real good, and then you wipe it off with a damp paper towel with a little bit of detergent. You can't wipe it off with just a paper towel. You got to have it damp. You wipe it all off, and once it sets up and it's set up real well, then I come back and I sanded it with 600 grit paper just to rough it up, get rid of all the shine, such that then I could come back and put lacquer on top of it. So otherwise, if you don't rough it up, the lacquer won't stick. It'll eventually start peeling off. So you got to rough it up, put the lacquer on for the lacquer to stick, and then put as many coats of lacquer as I wanted. I put about 4 or 5 coats of lacquer on it after that. And so this I stuck on, believe it or not, with contact cement here and here and here, because that way I don't have to sit there and hold it and wait for epoxy to set up. You can let it just stick it, and it'll stick and it'll stay, and you just press it and it'll work, and it works real well. It works real well. Up here on this right here, this is a hinge. I actually made it. It's out. Whoops. It's a hinge, and I don't know if you can see it or not. Almost see, but here's the hinge, and it's a piece by itself. I made the hinge and I glued it on top, and then this, and I got a little metal 1/8 inch metal pin stuck through it such that it'll pivot. So
That's a great idea for a hinge. Very nicely done, Dewey.
yeah, and so it was a challenge. That's the first hinge I ever made. It was really a challenge, but I really enjoyed the way it come out. It's really great. So anyway, fellas, off to make another one. I'm gonna do a different.
Hey, Dewey, your hinge. Did you cut that with what kind of a saw did you use?
Oh, I used a little handsaw.
Did you? Okay,
little razor saw, and what I did, I made this whole one out of one piece of wood. I had a pattern, and I sawed out the profile out on a scroll saw, profile. It was all one piece, and then to separate the top from the bottom, I used a little razor saw, and I cut slots here. Okay, and then after that, I took my I used a carving tool to carve out underneath this to separate this portion from this portion. Just that then, they would come apart. But before I did any of that, I drilled my hole. I drilled my hole first, and then I did all that. And so it was a real challenge, but it turned out pretty good. I learned some stuff. I learned a lot from doing that, and I put a little drop of CA glue right here to hold the pins so they won't come out. So,
Dewey, are you going to sell that thing?
well, I wasn't thinking about it, but if somebody wants to buy it, I'd consider an offer.
I was just wondering what kind of a price you would put on that thing. That thing is just beautiful.
It's going to be high, I can tell you that. It's going to
Yeah,
be more
imagine.
500, I would think.
Hey,
Wow.
Dewey, how did you haul out your sprout?
Excuse me?
Your spout, how did you hollow that out? Or did you put two pieces together?
Well, I put two pieces together. What I did, I carved out a groove in each half, and then I just glued them together. So it's got a passage that goes all the way down to here, but I don't have a hole in this. But anyway, I wanted to try to see if I could make a passage all the way
Good
through,
idea. Good idea.
and it turned out pretty good. It did.
It did.
I've
You know what,
got to say, I've got to say, Dewey, I think 500 is far too small of a price for that.
Yeah, I was thinking more like 2,700.
Well,
Yeah, I was thinking over $2,000 anyway.
I think you got an offer there.
If I had made it and it was going into the gallery that I go into once a year, it would be over $3,000.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Anyway, it's hollowed all the way through. Yeah, I hollowed the.
Quit bidding the price up.
Well, let's just make it $5,000, all right?
All right.
But
Wow.
anyway,
That is just beautiful.
I would sell it, but I don't know where to put it to sell it, because you go to these old line galleries and you don't get any hits. And if you go to a brick and mortar gallery, they won't charge 40%.
Yeah.
So post it on Facebook or one of the social media sites and put your price on it and see what happens.
Well, we might do that, and then and people buy art not for the art; they buy the art because of the artist.
Right.
Okay?
Well, some of them do. Some
And
of them
I'm,
buy it for the piece.
and I'm not a well-known artist, but maybe
That
this.
thing you will be.
It's only one way to
Dewey,
get there.
You know how to make yourself a well-known artist if you're in some place? Is you
How's
make
that?
up a really embellished bio.
Oh, really?
I've got to say, Dewey, if
So in other
people are
words, you
talking
lie.
about artists, if people are talking about artists or artist pieces, that is an artist piece. That
Sure
will
is.
get your name. That will get your name out there.
So,
Yes.
I guess what you say, you make a embellished bio, you lie about yourself, right? But,
Well, it just depends upon
Yeah, you
the
have to sell it,
interpreter, right?
Like Captain said earlier, you have to sell yourself. You do something right, everybody will see it.
yeah, but okay, but anyway, there it is, guys. And if you have any questions about how to do it, it's going to be I'm going to be doing a demo video starting from
Yep.
scratch all the way through to this
Oh my.
another piece. And
So everybody, when Dewey says thank you very much, read that in the those AI commercials that you hear on TV. Thank you very much.
thank you very much. Okay. Anyway, thanks
I
a lot.
appreciate it.
I appreciate the accolades.
Outstanding. Thank you, sir. All right, Matt,
All
who
right.
we got?
Next up is Billy.
Oh,
What you got,
great.
Billy?
I get to follow that.
Better you than me, Billy.
Somebody has to.
Oh my goodness.
Get
Well-
up and shine, Billy. Come on, get up.
I have, you've seen all these people that do these Pierce bowls and whatnot. Well, I got a Pierce piece. It's kind of a weird one.
That's
Pieces.
that's great. That's good.
It's a piece
Cheese.
of spalted. What?
Looks like cheese.
Yeah, it's a piece of spalted hackberry that was, I call it nature pierced. It
Mhm.
was all those, I didn't do any of that. Those were done by the carpenter bees.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
I I dispatched a dozen carpenter bees out of this piece.
I was going to ask if you had extra protein while you were turning.
No, because I dispatched them at the bandsaw.
Ah.
I started cutting it up to make it was a square blank. I started cutting it up to make a cigar ashtray, and it was one bee started crawling out, and I was like, oh crap. And every time I'd make a cut, another bee would start crawling out. Ended up being a dozen of them. Burnt my logo in the bottom.
Wow.
It's just finished with oil. I finished it with a couple of coats of oil. I didn't want to use a wax or anything or get it shiny because it's got too many bug holes and I'd end up with white pieces of wax all over it. But
Right.
the oil worked out pretty nice.
Carpenter bees, are
So
those
it's-
ones that look like
It's nothing much
like
and it's a little thick, but
Are the carpenter bees the ones that look like the bumblebees?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
they're black.
Really bigger.
They're not as fuzzy as a bumblebee. Their bodies are a
Right.
little are shiny, but they're the
Okay, I
same
know what
size
one
as
is.
bumblebees.
Okay.
And only the females can sting. However, and
How
they're
do you
supposed to be
check? How do
solitary.
you check? How do you check?
You don't. They're supposed to be solitary. Well, 12 bees in this piece didn't seem very solitary to me. But
Wow.
anyway, there was I didn't. They'll only bite you if you aggravate them or bother the nest. Well, that's what I was doing. Apparently, this piece of hackberry had gotten a little bit soft because it was starting to rot, and you can tell from the spalting. And so it made it easy for them to chew into. But I'm guessing since I started cutting this toward the end of winter, I'm guessing they decided to winter out inside here to try to stay warm. I don't know.
They only go in the end grain?
Yes, they only go in the end grain.
I'll be.
Oh, how about that?
I don't know why, but they apparently it's easier to chew than side grain. But yeah, every one of them went in end grain.
I thought you did it with a 357 Magnum.
Well, that would have left blowout on the opposite side, Jim. But yeah, that's
Nice job.
my little nature pierced bowl. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. As people, it was just I wanted to see if I could turn it. I left it thick because it's a little bit soft, and I was afraid it was gonna fly apart on me. So
Right.
anyway, I got a.
Great piece.
I was hoping I could have that cookie jar that I've been working on done enough to show, but I discovered today after applying the tongue weld to the inside, I need to sand a little more. Anyway, that's what I
All
got.
right. All right. Well,
Right,
thank
thanks,
you, Billy. Next up is Rick Barnes.
Yourself off mute. You're muted. Press the space bar on your computer.
Your microphone's
go.
up, Rick.
Yeah, bring your microphone down, it'll work.
Bring your mic down.
I can't hear you, Rick. You got the wrong mic picked on your thing here.
Is that any better?
Yes,
That's
there
better.
it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay. Anyway, I've been out of the shop for a couple of years with health problems, and I saw these on the YouTube, and I thought, well, I'm going to try that. I had a piece of oak out there, gave me a little time, so I just made a whole passel of them for my bourbon drinking friends. It's white oak, got the rings on it, burnt the inside, and it was an easy turn for me, and I didn't injure myself with my skew, and that was a concern because I have tremors, and it was good therapy for me. And I'm glad I got them done. You know, it's not like I'm glad I didn't have to follow Dewey. That was awesome, Dewey. I loved it.
Hey, Rick,
Did you make one for yourself too, Rick?
That's all I've got, guys. Thank you very much.
All right.
Those
All
are
right. Thank you,
beautiful.
sir.
Very nice.
Yep. Next up is Doug. What you got, Doug?
Hey guys, just checking my mic, make sure it was down. Couple of things. Tuesday, had a little fun. I had never used the iron acetate solution to ebonize before, and this is some of that you may remember. I've shared a couple of times the wood that I found in the back of a state park on a burn pile. I got no idea what it is, how much tannin is in it, but you can see from that nice brown color, there's the natural color on the bottom.
Right.
So it worked super well. But then I've got some new colors that I wanted to try out. So I got a nice little blue going there. Really liked it. So I'm experimenting. I got 4 colors. We're going to see what they are or how they all work. So today I decided I could come out here to the shop before the meeting started. Let's try another piece. So this one, this is oak. So it ebonized really good. It's really dark.
Works good on oak.
But there's that color, same brand of colors. This is a water-based, it's supposed to go in a marker. It's a refill for these markers, but it works absolutely wonderful. So you can still see the grain. Gives a good vibrant color. And
what's the brand, Doug?
Oh, the color is Salisbury Crafts.
Thank you.
So yeah,
that's pretty.
It's out of Australia. I got my laser insignia there, oak, the date, my logo, all that fun stuff. But anyway, just a nice little. I think it's a nice shape. I kind of like it as I developed it. Left this rim natural as well as the bottom, but everything else it's either ebonized or colored red.
It's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it frames the colors nicely. Well done.
Yeah, that's nice.
I do have a little foot there that is pretty much natural, but other than that. So anyway, thanks guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Good.
Very nice.
It's good to be back. I tell you what, I missed last week. It was terrible. I did go back
Doug?
and watch Carl. He was a mess. Yeah. Yes, sir.
On the water-based dye, how does that do on raising the grain? Did you have to battle that?
No, did not raise the grain. I was surprised. I thought it would, but I sanded
Right.
ahead of time to 240 and then put the color on it. And it did a great job. I've been really pleased so far with the blue and the red. I've got 2 more colors I want to try out. And then I'm talking with the guy in Australia as well. May have some more news on that in a few weeks. But anyway, he's got more colors. He's got other products. He's got at least 2 of these water-based. He's calling them paints. I think it's more of a dye because it is thin, lets you see the grain through it. I'm not going to fuss with the maker though. But anyway, he's doing a pretty good job with them. So we'll see how it goes. and I'll let you know more as I learn more.
You
Right.
date
All
your
right.
work.
Thanks,
You-
Doug.
What was that, Jim?
You date your work.
Yeah.
I've had people say, oh, wow, that's a year old. You know, they
I don't
don't
have
want
a-
to buy it. They don't want to buy it because it's a year old or 2 years old or something.
Right. Right.
I just thought, I quit dating my work. You ever have any problem with that? Or-
No. Most people look at that 4-digit code and they think it's a code number so I know what the bowl is. But it's, for me, it's very clear. It's the date. 0425. That was just done today. But no, I've never had anybody pick up a piece and say, oh, that's 2 years old. I don't want it. They've never said anything like that.
I have had
Yeah,
something
I date
similar
mine
happen
too,
to.
and I haven't had that problem.
I stopped dating mine several years ago for the same reason that Jim did, is I had people say the same thing to me, is I don't want to buy a 4-year-old piece.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I've had people pick up a piece at a show before and say, when was that made? And I take it out of their hand and I look and I tell them, I don't understand why it hasn't sold yet. That piece is 7 years old. And they say, well, they were leaving it for me and they bought it.
Well, a lot of
So-
times I like my own work and I keep it for a couple of years and you put it out for sale and somebody says, wow, this thing's 2 years old. And
Sure.
big deal.
And it's
Yep,
also,
yep.
it could all, I have not run into this myself, but it could also be that you're showing that it's a stable piece. It's not really moving or cracking much because it's aged, quote unquote.
Yeah. You know how old it is. They can see that. Yeah. And like you say, it sits flat on a table or on a shelf or what have you. And yeah, absolutely.
yeah, most people don't know how wood works like that, though. So that
Right,
I mean, I agree with you guys, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather buy a piece that's all done moving. So yeah, I hear you.
Right. There are people that want to be educated. They'll stand there and talk with you and you can educate them. And the more you'll share with them, the more likely they are to buy sometimes. Then again, you can share, they ask you a question. If you share too much, you bore them and they don't want to
No.
listen. And
When
so
you
they
get
walk
out in
off.
the public, you have to turn your brain off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to read them.
Yeah.
I worked retail for a number of years and, you have to learn how to read people and how much they're asking questions, but how much do they really want to know?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, great. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Next up is Paul. What you got, Paul?
Morning, everyone. Couple of things. First one is this little one, which is a spinning top. I did this at a demo a couple of weeks back, and I've textured a couple of bits on the top there using a spiraling tool.
Very
And
nice.
I've done a texture on the bottom, which this is the one everyone tries to avoid. You cut down the support and you press too hard and you make the wood ripple by putting too much pressure on the bevel. So that's what you try and avoid. So I'm trying to do it deliberately, and then pick that up with a little bit of colour.
Very nice.
So that's a
Very well
ripple
done.
straight off a gouge. And also it's got a hole in the top. That's a box.
Oh my goodness.
That's
nice.
wonderful.
Very
Hancock
clever,
thread
very
as well.
clever.
Yeah, that's
Very
made out of
clever.
boxwood. But I mean, I think I first saw that concept Bonnie Klein many years ago. So it's a Bonnie Klein inspired one, I would say, with that.
Wow.
But it does work as a spinning top. I haven't got enough space here to show you, but it does. Believe me, it does spin.
Wow.
That's
I've got
nice.
another one.
How nice you have that going together with the threads. That's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, I do thread chasing, so that's what I did on there. Just a normal. I think it's an 18 teeth per inch thread. So yeah, that was all part of the demo. And something else as well. My latest is these.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So that's aluminium and it's spun. And I've made 6 different forms.
Ooh.
That's 2. Then there's a third one here, which is this one. This was a bit more of an experimental one. I was trying to experiment with just how big a disc I needed. And this one is the form that I use for the one I've got in my hand. So it's a solid piece. I'll put a faceplate ring on it so I could just hold that in the chuck and get a consistent mount every time. And that one was spun on that piece of wood, but you can see it was a bit short. But I cut down a bigger disc to see roughly how far this went. So I was just trying to gauge what size disc I needed to make that size of bowl. And I missed it by about 3/4 of an inch, I think. but it's all part of the learning curve. So that's where I'm going with this. But as I say, I've got 6 different forms for 6 different shaped bowls. And where I'm going with these, my wife does enameling, and she does enamel pictures, sort of flat work, made up of panels that she enamels with copper, and she enamels copper bowls. So the plan is that I'm going to spin her some copper bowls that she can enamel. So that hence the 6 different shapes and sizes. So I can do all these different shapes and sizes, and she's going to enamel them.
Sounds like a great plan. I love it.
We just ordered the copper, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll have some copper to play with, which I think will be easier than the aluminium, actually, or aluminum as you call it on your side of the pond.
Yeah, it's softer. It's softer.
Aluminium's a lot softer and it drags more. But what I thought was really interesting, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but if you look at the inside of that,
oh, it's got the grain.
It's actually picked up the grain from the ash.
Wow, that's cool.
I thought that was quite interesting. So I might actually try and do something with this and highlight that in some way. But yeah, it's almost a perfect sort of imprint of the grain, because I just put quite a bit of pressure on the surface as you're doing this to try and make it flow. And yeah, it's interesting. Having said that, this one, that was another piece of ash and there's virtually no grain on it. Maybe I was getting better and put less pressure on it when I did that one, but I don't know. But yeah, the plan is to do some of these out of copper sheet. So I'm just waiting for my copper. But
should work great.
I've got the hang of it. I'll do it as a demo.
Hey, Paul, did you make the tools for the spinning that with?
I've got what I used to use was just my hollowing tools, my regular sort of shaft of a hollowing tool with a screw-on tip. And quite a lot of them, half of it's domed, so I just take the tip off and use it upside down, and the domed side I use for spinning metal, and it works. But a couple of years back, I saw some proper spinning tools that had obviously been used by a professional, much more substantial. I mean, they've got handles that are 1.5 inches thick, 2 inches thick, and you literally tuck it under your arm and you lean on it basically to make it go. So they're big tools and big fat handles, and I saw some of these for sale in an auction, so I put a bid in and I won them. So I've got a set of 5 tools. I think there's 1 or 2 others I need to go with that to augment the set, but I've got 2 with like bearings on the end that spin and 3 that are just shaped and polished. Either will work, and depending on the metal you're trying to spin, you use different metals for the tools. But the ones I've got are all steel. I mean, the ones with wheels, I don't think it matters so much because you're not dragging it across the surface. It's actually spinning with it with a bearing. But I tried both, and I tried sort of seeing what I could do with them. And the one I've got with wheels, they're quite big, so you can't get into tight corners with them. But the other tools are more shaped, and it's sort of flat one side and domed on the other side, so you can try and position the tool to get right up to an edge. But yeah, I'm still sort of playing with that. But I bought a rest as well. I was going to make a rest, and then I found out that One Way actually make a metal spinning rest, so I bought it. A bit of a story attached to that. It took me like 8 months to get it, but I got it in the end. So, so I've got a proper metal spinning rest, and because you're putting quite a lot of pressure onto the rest as you're levering against it to spin the metal, the rest comes with an extra clamp plate which goes under the rest, and you clamp it to the bed to stop it moving. I mean, the One Way rest has got quite a significant cam on it and quite a bit of clamping force, but even that, I think if you're spinning bigger pieces, you would probably need the clamp. I didn't use the clamp to do any of these, but I think on one of them I noticed at one point the rest had moved a little bit with me levering against it. So,
yeah, I've been wanting to learn how to do that. And I was thinking about trying to make my own tools, but I didn't know how successful I'd be at that and such.
So, hey, Paul, what kind of a blank did you start with? I mean, is it a flat piece and you bent it? Or?
Yeah, just a simple flat disc. I mean, this one here was the first one I did, but my wife buys sheets of copper from a metal supplier. It's about 170 miles north of here, so we go up there every now and again and come back with a whole pile of copper that's been cut into pieces for her to do her enameling with. And we were talking to the chap she buys the copper from, and I said, "Oh, I want some for spinning." He said, "Oh, yeah, we'll sell you metal for spinning, but they actually sell a softer copper. It's a properly annealed soft copper for spinning, but the stuff she buys, they call it half hard. It's a rolled sheet, and it work hardens as they roll the sheet. So that's not really suitable for spinning unless you anneal it first." But yeah, I can see the questions in the chat. Yes, this is all done on a wood lathe. I mean, I'm doing it on a one-way, so as a 2416, but I've done it on smaller lathes, and up to a point you can do it. But as I said, you need a significant clamping force on the banjo and tool there, so it doesn't move when you lever against it. But I mean, I started doing it on a smaller lathe than what I'm using now. But yeah, I thought if I want to do this sort of substantially, yeah, a bigger lathe is definitely going to be better.
Do you use a wax? Okay.
Yeah, I lubricate the surface. I'm just using beeswax. I think they recommend tallow, or I think you can buy what they call it a soap, and you rub it onto the disc, and then that helps it flow. And every now and again, you've got to put a little bit more. And as you're spinning it and dragging the tool across it, you're lifting off some of that. So you've got to reapply it now and again. Otherwise, particularly with the aluminium, it starts to drag, and you start to damage the surface. I mean, this one didn't turn out too bad. It's not perfect, but there's a little bit down here where there's a few lines in it. And yeah, this one was a little bit worse actually, but there was a lot more spinning to actually pull that shape. Because I mean, from here, I went from a flat sheet and I'm literally drawing it in at 90 degrees. So there's a lot more movement and a lot more effort needed to get that and to get it to flow. But yeah, I mean, the chap who supplied the copper for my wife, when we were talking to him about doing it, he said, "Oh, we also supply aluminium discs or aluminum discs, whatever you want to call it, for spinners." He said, "Hang on a minute." So we went away and he grabbed a sort of a handful of these 11-inch discs and said, "Yeah, I'll take those and go and practice with them. Basically, go and have a play with those, see what you can do, and then come back when you want some copper." So I've been playing with the aluminium that he gave me to have a go with. I've used up about 5 sheets. This was third attempt. The first two, I tried to go too far too quick, and it puts a lot of drag on the center, and I actually twisted the center and split the center out. So I ruined 2 sheets doing that. But the third one, I thought I'll just take it slower and build it up, and that one worked on the third attempt. This one. The others are the first attempt of each of those, and they're a little bit easier. But that one, because you're trying to push it so far, you've just got to do it progressively. You can't try and do too much too quick. You got to build it up and sort of flow it a little bit at a time. And particularly with the aluminium, I mean, it's about a millimeter thick. So yeah, 32nd or so, isn't it? Just over in thickness. So it's not massively thick, and if you do put a lot of force on it, it's going to tear. And where you're drawing it out in places, you're actually drawing it thinner than the original sheet. So
it's a real funnel.
Yeah, I've got to be a little bit careful with it, but all part of the fun.
That's a real funnel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that could be. The other two probably could be a funnel because there is a hole in the bottom now.
Yeah.
So for each piece, you made your own. How would you say? Not you. So you shaped. Yeah, you made that first with your wood.
All you do is
then
decide what shape you want.
over it.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want a close grain wood. I've used ash because I've got plenty of it around, but I think the wood of choice would probably be maple. So if I get into this and do more, I think I might get some maple and make some more out of maple. But I think with copper it will matter less because it's a harder metal than the aluminium. I don't think you'll get the imprint of the grain on it with the copper. I've actually got a couple of small bits of copper that were offcuts from what my wife does with the enameling, but that's a slightly thicker copper. But I think I can just about spin it, but it's on the verge of being too thick, really. But and I have annealed those. I obviously got a kiln, obviously, because that's what she does with the enameling. So these copper sheets I had, I just chucked them in the kiln till they were glowing red hot and took them out again. So they were only in there for like 20 seconds because it's at 800 degrees centigrade. But yeah, I've annealed those, and when they come out, they're covered with fire scale. So you've got to clean off the fire scale before you spin it. But yeah, I mean, it's work in progress, let's say. So I'll try some copper, and I'll be back with more when I've done some copper ones. But if you want to have a look at my wife's website to see what she does with the enamel, I'll just type it into the chat.
That sounds good. Maybe we can get her to do a demo on it.
You might. I'll try and persuade her, but I'm not sure. She's probably not keen on it. But yeah, I'll ask her actually. Yeah, but
gorgeous work.
She makes pictures which are obviously flat panels, and she works usually in either 6 or 7 inch squares because the kiln she's got, the 7-inch square is the biggest thing she can fit in the kiln. The kiln internal is sort of 7.5 to 8 inches square, so that's as big a piece as she can put in. And height wise, that is almost maximum height. She actually had a copper one of these that she gave me and said, I want some of those. So I've made a former based on the shape of the one she gave me, but the one that she gave me, she said it's a little bit too tall. It's almost touching the top of the kiln. So she said, make it like 3/8 of an inch shorter than the original. So I shortened it down a bit. So that's going to fit the kiln better, hopefully. But yes.
So your pieces are a little bit warm as you're putting them on, then, right? There's some heat involved.
There's friction.
There's obviously friction involved in the spinning process. So at points it does get quite warm. I mean, I've lubricated those with beeswax as I was spinning, and on one of them I went to sort of wipe the beeswax across it again. I just got some sticks of wax, and one of them it was actually melted at sort of points because the metal had warmed up. So yeah, you do put some heat into it.
Very, very pretty, very clever for sure. Wow.
Indeed. All right. Thank you very much, Paul.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that, a little after 5 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock for y'all on the Eastern Standard Board there. Let's get our safety moment on, and then we'll move on to our demonstration for the evening. Hey, Sue.
I was going to show you a figurine tonight, and I had the dress all done. I had it semi-shiny. I gave it a natural finish. I figured today I would drill out the neck and make the face and all that. And when I went to drill it out, it came off the lathe and over to the other side and got all dinged up.
Oh no.
So I put it back on the lathe, and I do have it pretty well fixed up. I still need to drill the hole. The original hole was going to use a 1 inch. I think after I made it thinner, it's going to be a 3/4 inch. But yeah, you'll see it next week. I did use the body as red elm. It's from my front tree. Big branches fell down during the hurricane. Oh. And I gotta say, that was nice to turn. It was really nice to turn. But the color is closer to the bark than it is on the inside. But yeah, it came out nice. So you'll see it next week. So let's talk about safety and fatigue and what some of us forget to do. You know, all our minds, we all think we're 30, maybe 35. A few of you might think you're 40, but my mind says 35. My body says, hell no. So I was working on the body today, and y'all know about my eyes. And sometimes I don't see what I'm doing and I get a catch. So I've gotten quite a few catches. And I finally got rid of all those. And it dawned on me, Sue, you're tired. Your eyes are tired. It's time to quit. Because I really wanted to show you guys it tonight. And more than just a pen. But you'll see it next week. And what it is, I'm telling everybody, if you're tired and you don't really realize it, or your eyes aren't working, or your arms hurt because you haven't turned in a while, then take some Tylenol and take a break. And if you still want to turn an hour later, go for it. But if your body says, oh no, not today, then think about it, folks. We start making mistakes. We start having accidents when we're tired. And if you're tired or your limbs ache or your feet ache or any of those things, stop turning and just take it easy. So I want everybody to be careful this week. If you're tired, don't turn. And wonderful week. And I hope to see you all next week. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Sue.
All right.
You're welcome.
Good advice there, Sue. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, let's check. So good there. You guys are stuck with me. You guys are stuck with me. Our regularly scheduled demonstrator, he had an accident and has been incapacitated. Broke his arm, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Ow.
Yeah. So let me see. Too bad. Plus, it gives everybody an opportunity to jump off that don't want to watch this. So, all right. Cover up my keyboard here. And so I am going to turn.
There went 10 people just like that.
Did they?
No, I'm just kidding you.
Oh.
April Fools.
Outstanding.
April Fools was a couple of days ago, or was yesterday.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, take a note of that, and then I'll just prevent them from coming back in again.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, if you want to lose people, you'd show one of my videos.
No, not at all. All right, so I haven't turned one of these in forever. And so this is one that I did a long time ago. So it's made from one block of wood. These are what I call jewelry caddies. This is a piece of lacewood. Yeah, lacewood.
Dane,
And
hey, Dane,
yeah.
are you going to mute everybody before you start?
Oh, yeah, I guess I could. Of course, I think everybody knows to try to be quiet. Yeah, let me.
I haven't already.
All right, I'm gonna mute everybody. Unmute myself. Give a little bit of motion sickness there for Captain Eddie. All right, so you guys can hear me now, right?
Yes.
All right, great. And then so quickly today, I grabbed a. So I'm gonna work with a piece of eucalyptus, probably about 40 years old. It's dry, it's chippy, not eucalyptus, mahogany. Probably, I don't know, I've had it for at least 30 years now. But it is some real dry, chippy stuff. So I whipped one out, everything except for the knob earlier today, just to try and get myself back in practice of what it looks like. We might do a little something with the texturing tool. And so what I did with the black here, that's iron acetate. I just wanted to see how that would react with mahogany, and it reacts really, really good. So we may or may not do that. Leave that up to you all. And so with that, so I'm starting with approximately a 4-inch blank. Four and an eighth square. And the lid piece is about 7/8 of an inch. And so we will start that between centers. Already got my centers marked out. Got my little hole punched. And if there's any questions, feel free to say something. I've gotten to where I don't mind it on my part too much. Just be respectful, don't talk over each other. Do have a face shield. Hopefully I won't be bumping the camera like I did the last time. And so what we're going to do is first we'll profile the bottom, and then I'll cut a tenon on this side here so I can grip it. And then I'll make a recess. We'll go from there. Of course, the light's gonna white it out, so turn without Z leash. And it's turning about 1,000 RPMs. Got the tool handle dropped. Using a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. And I just want to be careful coming across. Is what I found. Like I said, was being chippy. It started just peeling the wood off because of just being so dry and whatnot. So
Dana, we got a question.
Yep.
When you get a chance, can you walk through the process of keeping the corners pointed?
As in the tops pointed? Just, starting square and being careful with your cuts. But we'll get through it. I don't do anything really special on it, per se. If there is a special technique, I wouldn't mind knowing myself. So we're just going to bring this up maybe an inch, something another. Stop every now and then just to check to make sure we're not chipping out too much. I got a chip out there. Means I got to come up a little bit higher. Almost there. You know what? See if we can change the view of the camera. So it's full screen.
You're making me dizzy.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Somebody just tabbed me off. So. Let me move it down. Sorry. Thought I had this set up.
We can almost see what you got in your pocket.
Right. All right. Does that look a little better?
Looks okay.
Yes, looks good.
Can you spotlight me again, Brenda?
Looks like you are.
Nope. Keep popping off.
Wrong one.
Oh, my cell phone.
Gotcha.
Cell phone.
Second. Nope.
Deli. Z co-host.
It's not giving me the option to.
I got it.
It'll give me the option to pin, but not to spotlight you.
I did it.
Weird. Oh, thank you. All right, so what we're gonna, I got that little chip there, so I just want to, got to bring it up another 1/4 of an inch now. So see if we can get by that. As I'm done, I'm just watching the horizon right on top. Son of a gun, look at that. It worked. How about that? I got a tool mark here. Right at the transition. stuff be real dusty. All right, so now go back, cut ourselves a tenon. Use the old putting tool. And we want to have a tenon about 45 to 50 millimeters in diameter. I got my 50 mil jaws in. You don't need a big one. It's going to turn away anyhow, so. You have a little bit of tool overhang here. So I always try to angle my direction to cut right about 10 o'clock, staying in that position. That way your tool doesn't get sucked under the tenon. And then having it pulled in. Grab the calipers and check. So that's 48. Need to make sure that got my little dovetail on it. Turn the light on so I can see. I'm just going to angle the beading and parting tool here and use it as a skew. Again, I'm still coming in at that 10 o'clock positioning, cutting position. All right, so that should work. Take that off, put it in the chuck. And you don't need to crank it to Oklahoma when you're tightening up your tenon. When you tighten your tenon up too much, that's what leads to a lot of tenons failing and snapping off on your workpiece. So. Take the elbow pointer off. It's going to gauge the bottom of the existing piece that I was playing with earlier. I'm going to make about a 55 millimeter tenon here. So let's see if we can cut that right the first time. What are the odds?
I got faith in you. You can do it.
So we're Just use the parting tool for that. You don't need a big one. Or I should say, you don't need a deep recess. Just enough for the jaws to grab a hold of.
How deep would you say that is?
I will probably go about an eighth, no more than 3/16. And oh, here we go. We use a Mark Soleil tool. So normally you can use this when you're between centers. The old number 7 type scraper. So it's got cutting action here. I think it's 7 degrees. And then it's got cutting action on the front. And so this allows you to clean up your recess, especially when you're between centers. And then keep everything nice and straight. And the cutting action is just like a scraper. All right, that should be good.
That tool automatically, puts a bevel inside of it?
The dovetail, yes.
Yes.
That's that 7 degree slant on it.
Sweet.
And then so when you're making the recess, where a lot of recesses fail is because they extend so far out away from the vessel. The holding strength of, oh my God. I'll be back.
Smoke alarm's going off again.
Yeah, I gotta disconnect it. I'll be back.
Okay.
Well, we can show a little more gallery here if you guys want. So let's
quick one.
Yep. Well, we'll find out. Birdhouse Bob, you're up.
Oh, hey, how's everybody doing? I got
Good,
a
Bob.
offset platter that I did.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I'll mute myself. Now this is a turquoise, and this is red and yellow. Well, it's yellow with the red and then sanded through. And then this is the eggshell that I've done. That I took a class in. And then
That is gorgeous, Bob.
Back of it, I did some teardrops with a router.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful piece.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yes,
My
it
goodness.
is. Gorgeous.
Can
Love
you
it.
put it on the, can you put it on the side again, Bob, so we can see the?
Gracious.
Yeah. No, back towards the front a little bit. Back, right about there. Okay, just want to see. Yeah, wow.
That's really cool. It almost looks flowery.
That's pretty.
It was done on 3 different centers.
Very nice.
That is sweet.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's beautiful, Bob.
How did you apply the colors? Did you airbrush or did you paint them by hand?
The red is dyes, and then I painted this, and this is a putty that I put some trans-tint dye in, and then I put eggshell in. Well, I put eggshell in, then I put the putty in, and then sanded it back.
Very cool. Very cool.
Where did the birds go?
The eggshell is actually harder than the wood is.
I believe it. Very nice, Bob. Thank you very much.
That is cool.
Beautiful, Bob. Just beautiful.
Good to see you,
So
Bob.
next,
Good to see you.
so next up is Terry. And Terry is sort of there. There he is.
There, I'm there. You had it unmuted. I've been fighting the computer. I haven't been on much in the last 3 weeks. I don't know what went wrong, but it kept telling me that Google search wouldn't, Worldwide Woodturners was not on. Lost it completely. I lost it on my phone, everything. I'm sitting here and I got the iPad, 2 tablets and my phone. I finally got on to figure it out, but I can't get on through Google for some reason. I went to Safari and it fired it right up. So anyway, I got that part down for now. I'm not too computer literate anyway, but we all know that. I'll start out with a couple of things. Glenn come up with this challenge for the club, and I don't know where he got this from, but he made a whole box of 2-inch cubes and told us that we had to make something out of them. So I started out, and then I kind of cheated, and I made a finial for it, little box.
Oh, that's cute.
It's pretty thin and
fun.
small. It's made out of the 2-inch cube. And the finial, I don't know what that's made out of, something that I had laying around. And that one came out pretty good. But you know me, I'm not gonna make one of anything. This is a piece of cherry that pretty much on the same plan out of the 2-inch, and I stuck with the whole 2-inch. I didn't make my own finial on that one.
That's cool.
And then this one I did the same thing on, made the 2 inches out of it with a flat top with no finial. Then see if I get one more. I wound up with 6. And this one came out pretty good. This is a piece of walnut. And it come out. And
well, let's see the
I
top
don't know.
inside the top of that one again. Yeah, look at that.
That's the one I like best. I made like 10 finials and I like that one best. But this one's a little special. See if I can turn the camera around to show the tabletop. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Where is it? I don't see it.
We don't see, we see the tabletop, but not the top.
I know, you don't see the top. Where'd it go? Ah,
There it is.
But anyway, you get the idea.
Yep. It's a spinning top.
Wait.
It's a spin top out of my little box. And I have
Very
one
cool.
more. I have another one to show, but this one. This is really strange. You've seen the tippy tops. I don't know if you can get a view of this without changing the camera. Watch it. There, can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
It spins on its side. It's too heavy.
Did
on
you
the
do that?
top, I guess.
Did you do that intentionally?
No, it wasn't intentional.
Okay, good.
And this is
It was a
the
happy
last one.
accident.
This is the last one. So here's all the extra tops that I made trying to find some that I liked. But anyway, that's enough of that. Then we had a challenge to make a mushroom. So I had to make a mushroom. And kind of little, as you can see, it's not very big. It's smaller than my thumb. It's a box. Supposed to be.
Because of course it is.
And then, can you see the top of it? It's an acorn.
Oh, cool.
One other thing, before I quick and get off of here and get back to thing, is I decided I'd try some piercing. And I had a big lampshade and I didn't want to really try that. So I had a small one laying on table for a long time, so I said, I'll try that. And this is it. And then I burned them in there. After I made the piercing, I thought I put in a light bulb to see how the light would come through it with the piercing, set it on a lamp. And I don't know why I didn't like it in the first place. The light come through the dark part's wonderful.
Huh.
I don't know why I didn't like it in the first place. But anyway, I don't have any piercing tools.
I like
And
it.
what I did is I used a little bitty drill bit and drilled the holes. And then I used a piece of a bit off of a Rotozip in my master carver carving tool. And it worked pretty good. It's a little too big, but it came out pretty good. I think I'm going to finish it. I don't know. It might be finished. It might be on the bench for a few more years.
Leave it outside for
I
the
don't know.
carpenter bees to pierce.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what we need. But that's what I got, guys. I still don't
All right,
know
well,
what's
thank
the matter with the iPad. But anyway, I'm on. So
That's
All
okay.
right,
Thank you
cool.
very much.
Thanks, guys.
You ready, Dane?
Yeah, I disconnected that stupid thing. I got to get a new one for my bedroom, I guess. So, all right. So, yes, what I was talking about was the strength of a recess comes from the holding power from when the jaws are being expanded out. All the force is coming through the side of the vessel instead of coming straight out through the sides on a properly made recess. So if you got a recess and it's extending out, and then you're setting your jaws in it, there's nothing there to support that wood. It's ultimately it's going to fail. So with that, so I just measured this, and I'm about 1.5 millimeters off. So widen it just a hair. We're just going to make short work of that with a little skew. And of course, it turns out that if I would have marked my initial caliper marks, I would have nailed it the first time. But that's all right. Just come in here, clean it up. This stuff is just turns to dust once you hit it with your hands. It's crazy how dry this wood is. So who wants to try and put a little whirligig in there with the Storby tool?
I can't reach it from here.
No?
No. You're on your own.
Okay. All right, so for this pattern, know how well it
Towards you.
towards me. Oh, that's so for this pattern, you hold the tool at approximately 1 o'clock. And then for this pattern, which is typically what you see.
Towards you. Okay.
Still can't see it. And then for this pattern, you hold it horizontal to the work to make that multifaceted pinwheel. And then I thought maybe we would try some gilding ink on the finger and see what that would do after we put some iron acetate on it. See what that looks like. Anybody game for that? I've never done it before, so
Just be real light with your finger and
Yeah.
go over the top of the surface when you do it.
Yeah, okay. Good advice. All right, so
No pressure, but Mark Soleil just logged in.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we start this about horizontal. I find about 500. Is the optimal speed with the sortie tool. Start here, and yeah, cuts like a scraper. So start a little right there on center, and then raise it up a little bit, allow it to cut, and then rotate it out. Look at that. You guys can't see it.
There we can.
Yep.
It worked.
Oh. I couldn't have done better myself.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And so always keep a handy dandy toothbrush on a magnet. And that'll make real short work of any of the fuzzies. And so get a little paintbrush, a little bit of iron acetate. Apologize for the camera setup being messed up this time. We'll rotate about 160. Just start from the center, pull it up to 10 o'clock. You don't want a big brush because then you're going to load it up with too much solution. Then it's going to drip on your turned item. You don't want that to happen. And so you can see how quick that's going to black.
Is there a way to neutralize the effect if so it doesn't get too dark?
I'm not aware of one, Matt.
All right, thank you.
I guess use it on lower tannin woods. I don't know. Yeah, I find cherry works great, mesquite works great. Obviously, I found out that the mahogany works great. Eucalyptus works great. Locust works good.
My oaks have a lot of
Walnut
tan. My oaks have a lot of tannin in them also.
Yep. And then oaks work really well too. And then for other woods, I know like with ash, it'll give it a bluish, a real light blue, grayish color, or at least that's what it does to Arizona ash down here. So I'm going to air dry that real quick. And we'll try to light touch with. You want to use gold or you want to try silver?
Gold.
Gold.
Yeah, do not glob it onto your finger when you do it. Put a very, very thin skin of it on your finger and just very lightly brush the tops of your texture.
Got it. Guess what it smells like? Like vinegar. So I use cleaning vinegar from Home Depot, and you can buy it in the gallon or the quart jug. It's got 35% more acidic volume to it compared to your household vinegars, and it works extremely well with metal shavings. And what I use for metal shavings, either is either the filings that come off the CBN wheel. I use a magnet to catch them. Or if I'm out, I use mild steel, and I'll just throw it in the vise, take the file and rub some off on it. But since I've been using the magnet trick, I've got a couple prescription bottles filled up with it. So take a napkin here.
Dane, can you use steel wool?
Some people like to use steel wool. I do not like to use steel wool because once you use fine metal dust, you will never go back, and you don't got to clean it. Soak it in acetone, get the oil out of it. So there's your metal shavings. And that's about all you need for an 8-ounce bottle.
Oh my.
And the cleaning vinegar will dissolve that in about 3 hours. And you can sit there with with hot metal. That's what steel wool is. Hot metal. It's not good steel. Your steel wool takes several days to dissolve. And if I'm wrong on that, y'all can let me know that do it. So. All right, so let's see how this is going to work, Matt.
Yeah, typically, Dane, what I do when I do this is I put some of it on like my thumb, and then I wipe a very thin film onto the finger I'm going to do the applying with. And then the finger I do the applying with, I very lightly wipe it across the top.
Got it.
Yeah, don't be tempted to overdo it because it'll get in the cracks and wreck the look.
Yeah, stuff dries quick.
What brand are you using?
Look here's a minute. Never done this before. So.
Yeah, I don't usually do it with the lathe running. I turn the lathe off and do it just a little bit at a time and work my way around it, building it. So try that, see if that makes a difference.
You can see the swirls from here now.
Yeah, we can see it happen. Something's happening, yeah. Is that working better, Dane?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, the thing you got to be careful about is getting it in the cracks, because once it's in there, you can't hardly ever get it out.
Yeah, you're not getting it out. Yeah, so I'm doing good. Nothing in the cracks. So.
All right, rock on.
Right. Hell yeah. Chalk that up to a win. All right, so let's clean up and give this thing a border. And let's see, we got a point tool around here somewhere. Yep. It's sitting right where it's supposed to be.
Dane, we got another question. Is it better to apply that stuff in forward or reverse?
Apply what stuff?
Stuff you just put on there.
Well, I guess it wouldn't matter. Well, I would imagine it would make a difference. I think for this, based on the serrations, you want to go in the direction that the texturing was cut, Because if I went the opposite direction, it would be going against the cut.
Would that be going into the grooves then?
Yeah, well, that's what I think, but I'm not sure because literally it's the first time I've done this by adding embellishing cream or ink to something. And then matte, this stuff is called, it's Dollar Downy or Daler Downy, Daler Downy. Pearlescent gold ink. It's a liquid acrylic.
Okay.
What's the difference between liquid acrylic and acrylic paint?
Nobody knows.
Describe what the difference is. It's thinner, lighter, and more pearlescent.
What, the liquid
Go with
acrylic?
that, 'cause I don't have an answer, so let's go with that. All right. Just in case I have to spin this around. I don't think we will. Yeah, I don't even. Oh, there's.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, so it's a good effect.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it runs through. How about that? All righty. So now we got it in this orientation. And so now what we want to do is start carving down and then making the little pot that you would put your jewelry in or whatever you want to put in it.
This is the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, the hard part is getting in here. Yep.
Yep.
And I've got a skew, an old skew that I ground specifically for that years ago. But well, I just found it earlier, but I don't have a handle for it, so I'm not quite sure what happened to my handle. So we'll muddle through it with the bowl gouge. So once again, you want to be very careful entering in on the square because you got four ends flipping around, and you don't want to chip your wood out. A little too high there. And a little too low for my liking. Let me just clean this up. And I always try to do get the hollow going, the concaveness from the squares here, and work everything down about the same time. We got dust coming in over the wood chips coming in over the mask.
Those look like some beautiful corners right there now.
Yeah, they're good. We just got to maintain them, right? And I'm turning about 1900. I mean, it cuts good, but it's just dust once it lands on something solid. And so once you get about halfway down, you want to start opening up that cove in there between the vessel and the plate itself. That way you've got room to, especially when you're ready to do your final cut, that way you can go from the end and start at the end and end on the base of the pot. So we're about 3/4 of an inch now, so need to go about another half inch. Try and get my toe rest in a little bit here, so I'm not so overextended.
Yeah.
Do what?
Weekend.
Here's somebody trying to say something.
Yeah, it's an open mic.
Oh, okay, got it. Got to be real careful when you're coming in like this, so you don't overextend too far. Because if you do, you're gonna whack one of them corners and you'll pop them off.
That's what I would do.
Yep. And then and again, the key for trying to keep those corners is just, being sharp and going in with a very light cut and rotating out. All the cutting motion's got to be with the body. If you do it with the hand right here on the tool rest, you're gonna pull it and break it. I'm going to take some more of the body of the column off here. Usually keep getting down towards the base. You just take and go back to the saucer side to open up more of it so you can get a little bit smaller diameter. And as you keep doing that, you just switch off. Once you get closer to the inside diameter, you switch off to a smaller diameter bowl gouge or spindle gouge. I'll be switching to a 3/8 here pretty quick. We'll just go ahead and switch off now. Let's see what it looks like. A little bit more here. Yep. Thought I'd hit that corner a little too hard. Trying to split out on me. Yeah, it looks like I split out the other one too. We can save this guy. And the other one's fixable where that crack was at earlier. Nothing like a little Parfix 3408 to the rescue.
You betcha. Ain't nothing like it.
Nope. Let's give that a second to dry. And of course, I took my other bottle of water in the doggone house. Yeah, so it's nice and solid. This little corner here, all I'll do is I'll just take some dust, and work it in with a little bit of CA, and then we'll have a new point for it. So no big deal on that.
Did you have that Parfix in a spray bottle?
No, that is the accelerant that I use. All right, so let's now work on the shaft of the vessel here and take it down a little bit more. And again, still using the 3/8 bowl gouge. And I have it sharpened on the Wolverine using the 40 degree jig at 1.75 inches. And that's going to be good enough for government work. There's a crack right there, and there's a crack right there. And so I'm not sure if it's just a flaw and there's a internal knot. But I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go any lower on that. And so now we just need to excavate the inside of the pot. We'll go back to the 1/2 inch bowl gouge. So all I wanted to do was straighten the top off a little bit, because what we want to try and do is when we put our lid on, we'll use some napkin to make a jam chuck, and then make everything nice and concave for it where it fits in nicely. That's the intention. Let's take the gouge and drill in a little bit here. Careful not to drill too far. He's really not sure about that crack down there. The wood is gummy. And I can't see. Yeah, let's stop. See where we're at. Yeah, we're about right here. So we're good. There's that crack comes right to there. So come in with a round nose scraper. I didn't get the little end piece off there. Start a little, just below the little nub, and you raise your scraper up.
How you gonna sand that whirling dervish?
All right, so that's got that. Somebody said something.
Yeah, I said, how you gonna sand that whirling dervish?
Carefully and gently,
Carefully and gently. That's it.
and with a long
What?
stick.
I'm not that bad. So I'm gonna leave my chucking points on so I can make get back to my, there's my skew that I use. And it's ground specifically for this to be able to come in and pull across. And it leaves an immaculate surface that, you know, even like this, if you wanted to sand, you just put your fingers in there and just be careful. Be very, very careful.
You can wrap the sandpaper around a white 3M pad, which is non-abrasive.
Sure.
And that gives you some padding to protect your fingers too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've got a little, here, I'll show you the pad that.
My fat fingers won't fit in there.
So it's about 3/16, maybe eighth, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch. And you just got the paper folded around it that way. That way you got some meat to it. Okay, so now we want to make our recess for the lid to fit into. And so just pull the handleless skew out for that. And make sure you're cutting straight. We're about 1/8 of an inch deep. And so we just go ahead and throw the calipers on that now. Turn it on in case somebody wants to know what this particular one is. It's at 54.5. And so for the body, you're done for the most part, except for sanding. And so now we'll make the lid. And start that between centers. Some wood chips in there. And so all you want to do is kind of rough out the outside diameter of the pot you just made onto the main piece here. And then we'll cut a tenon that will fit the pot that was made with the recess that was just cut. And then you put the two of them together and finish turning the lid. And so a lot of people will say, "Oh, why don't you cut that out round on your bandsaw before you start?" Majority of the time, whenever I do these pieces, I start with one full-on connected block, and then I part the lid off after I get to turning. So, in this case, that's the reason why I'm doing it like this. And from being very rough and aggressive right here, the ends are just flying off. Give you a peek, you can see how it just blew all off, which is fine because we're not concerned about them. Trying to decide. Try to make a built-in lid. Nah, leave enough meat for that. Not enough meat. Then we'll make our payment set. Just marking out my diameter for the lid tenon. And you'll be tempted to want to make a snap cap fit. That is definitely not required. How many times we got to try this? Oh, so close. How close are we, Billy? What do you think?
I'm not Billy, but I think you're close.
And you got
Close.
it this time.
I think that'll work.
Woohoo!
How about that? So we only need 1 ply toilet paper.
If it had been me, I'd have made it too loose.
Me too.
Well, you don't want it tight, that's for sure, because you want to be able to lift it off.
Yeah, but you don't want it sloppy either.
No, no, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, you definitely don't want it. Don't want it sloppy. Put the face back on. Look at that, it runs true. Piece of toilet paper. Just 1 ply.
I usually use masking tape.
Do tell, Matt.
Just hold it on with the tailstock, turn it flush, and then tape it. And then you can finish the top bit. I'm sure you're going to do that anyway, so.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta shape it to the pot first, and then I'll be using masking tape on the side when I go to drill it. Even though you
Good to hear. You soothed my soul on that one, Dane.
I thought maybe you were doing it a different way. All right. Oh. Just grabbing some water. All righty. Let's see. And so now this is where we want to go back to taking our time. So we don't want to blow it out. Turn my big light off. And then use my light. Oh, darn it. All right. All right, so we've come this far. We don't want to blow it up, so be careful. About a 1/16 of an inch away from the pot top. I've got a negative break here, grounded about 35 degrees. It seems to work really well in this mahogany. All right. Need some blue tape, Matt.
I'm sure you have some handy like I do.
Ain't got too much. I don't know if I got any more in my cabinet or not. Do a look tomorrow. I got to be sparing with it. I think we might have enough meat there to actually make a handle, inclusive handle. No, come on, tape. Work with me. So that'll hold once you get a catch.
So don't do that.
Quarter-inch spindle gap. For me, I always like the spindle gouges. I'm always cutting, or I prefer to cut just a little bit above center. It's hard to swing the tool, but you got those little 4 pointies throwing around a couple thousand RPM.
Don't be afraid. They're only going 1900.
Yeah, you're right. It's only 1600 now to look at it.
Oh, 16. There you go. Don't be afraid.
There we go. All right. Turn it up. Turn it up. I meant to put the reactive sound on, that way you can hear the thinness. Kind of tinny.
We can hear it.
Huh?
We heard some of it
Oh, okay.
right there. Humming.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Leave out of work. The old tape off. Goodness. Bit of DNA. Believe it or not, that your blue tape, painter's tape, has really good holding power.
Dane, what grind do you have on your spindle gouge?
So any gouge smaller than a 1/2 inch, I used 40-degree Raptor jigs in the Wolverine sharpening setup. And then I initially set the wings on the platform during my initial setting up the tools. So like on my bowl gouge, turn this like that.
Too bright.
But why my lighting is sucking tonight so bad, nothing's changed about it. So I have a real long wing. It's only about a 1/2 inch. But I establish those on the platform grinder. And then from there, I go to the Wolverine with the 40-degree.
It's a beautiful cut.
And then for my quarter inch, same thing. I established the wings, and then again I'm using 40-degree Raptor, the Raptor jig setup, and then I only go in 1.75 inches. I don't go in 2 inches. That keeps the nose bevel a little bit shorter.
Really?
And then so the only other thing that would be required, I forgot to do here, is to clean off your between the center's chucking point when you're initially profiling here. And all you got to do for that is, have a jam chuck. We've already got one made right here. And you come back in, tape it back up, and peel it off, or take and put it against a sanding pad. So with that, here we are with
Oh, look, it's the face. You see the eyes?
yeah.
And the nose. Oh, look at that.
Great demo, Dane.
Thank you. And again, there's the
Gold on the bottom.
bottom. So maybe when I sit down, put it up on, move the camera over on that side, I'll show you the cracks that got exposed that I was worried about down here. But the base is probably 3/4 of an inch in diameter. But yeah, other than that, I'll chuck it back up and I will grab my properly ground skew that I use on the inside here to clean up the bottom surface, and we'll get it cleaned up and get some finish put on it and see what it looks like come next week. So with that, I'm gonna bug off here and mute myself so I can get all this dust and wood chips off of me, and I'm gonna go grab a beer. Actually, I'm gonna grab 2. So.
Very enjoyable, Dan. Thank you.
But any questions? Any questions from anybody? Sorry.
No, just very enjoyable. That was nice.
Good demo, Dane.
Yes, it was.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
All right, a lot of fun. All right, I will check back in here in a minute.
Okay.
Do we got more gallery, or is Captain Eddie still on?
I do not see Captain Eddie. We have at least one more person in gallery.
Okay, yeah, let's carry on with gallery and I'll be right.
Okay. Our gallery person was Bob Grinstead, but he is no longer here. So we guess we don't have anybody in gallery. Does anybody have anything they'd like to show us tonight?
Joaquin just came in. Does he have anything maybe?
Oh, well, we got someone here. Hang on. Norm says he's got something. We're gonna put him up. Thank you, Norm. What you got, Norm?
He just wants to show off that fish.
Yeah. Here's a piece of
That's
aspen.
pretty. Oh my God. That almost looks like a fish inside of that thing too.
That's some wicked feather in there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
What kind of
a lot of
What
fun.
wood is that?
Aspen. It was a crotch, so it had bark inclusion. So I used some epoxy and put over the top of the bark inclusion. So I kind of like that look.
Yeah, it looks cool.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
Is that all you got?
That's what I got.
Okay, well, thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to show us? So we got Sheila's
Sheila
got
said
something.
she's got
Okay.
something.
Yeah, I see that. All right, let's put Sheila up. What you got, Sheila?
Not much. It's heavy though.
Oh my God.
This is a friend of mine asked me to make him a bowl out of some plywood. He did the blank and he just wanted a big bowl with fairly straight sides to see the layers. And he wants to do the finish on it, and it was cherry veneer plywood.
Oh wow.
Cool.
So it's just giant.
Beautiful.
It's 13 1/4 inches by about 5, I think.
Can we see the bottom again?
I didn't do much on there. I just did some,
Nice.
burned some lines in it.
Nice job. Beautiful piece.
Big knot.
I would have blew it up.
It looks cool.
It's heavy.
That's a big popcorn bowl there for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That hold a whole lot of
Good
Skittles.
M&M's bowl.
M&Ms. That's a lot of M&Ms.
I know it. Can't have too many.
Oh my
I
God.
told him I could do it for a bowl from a board, but he decided to just glue up layers. So boy, there was a lot of shavings.
Hmm.
That was a lot of hollowing. I wish I had a cord system.
I bet that was a lot of dust too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Didn't get no curls.
Nope.
Yeah. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Sheila. That's great. Plywood makes some very interesting pieces. It's surprising, so it's cool. Doug says he's got one to show.
Oh no, not Doug.
Yeah, that's right. I say that with trepidation. So, what you got, Doug?
So, made the wife a cake platter.
Beautiful.
The bottom, I don't know, maybe at that angle you can see I actually made a bowl in the bottom a little. And then I undercut the top just for decorative reasons, I guess.
Dang.
Did put the little lip around the edge so things don't completely slide off. And was able to keep a little bit of the sapwood right there, not too much. But this is your standard run-of-the-mill Arizona mesquite. It's probably the most forgiving woods you can use. Doesn't really crack too much, doesn't move too much, so it does all right.
Beautiful.
Very
What kind of finish you put on it?
This finish, I just picked up this finish. I tried it. This is my second piece that I've used it on, and it's okay. I don't think it's like the end all be all by any means.
Oh yeah,
I love Howard Feed and Wax.
Yeah,
that's been around a long time, hasn't it?
And so I put it on. I let it sit there on the wood pretty liberally for about 20 minutes or so, and then came back and took the excess off and sped up the lathe and worked it in there pretty good. And you know, it's not a mirror finish by any means, but it's going to be a piece that's used all the time. So
perfect. I use that finish.
Okay. And Billy, when you use this finish, do you polish it up long enough to get a good shine, or do you just use it on things that are going to get used pretty regularly?
Typically on utility pieces. I'll
Okay.
I like you did, I'll put it on and slather it on pretty good. Let it sit for 20, 30 minutes and then buff it up and it's good to go.
Yeah, and food safe and yada, yada, yada.
Well, Howard does have a food safe finish, but Feed and Wax is not.
Oh, I thought this one was.
No.
Well, then I lied to someone. Edit that off YouTube.
Their Howard Butcher Block finish is food safe, but their Feed and Wax is not.
It'll taste like lemons and honey. It'll be all right.
I was gonna say, it had oranges and wax. How bad can it be? Let me try.
Yeah, it's got orange oil in it, but I don't know if it's got any other additives or not.
No.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
No, you're not. You're not right at all.
Even though it doesn't say it's food safe, even though it's not technically food safe, I still apply it with my bare fingers.
I did too, and so far I think I look okay. Oh wait, there it is.
Very cool. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to Joaquin and see what Joaquin has.
Okay.
Good evening, Joaquin.
Let me turn the light down a little bit. I got a washout.
I knew Joaquin would have something.
Well, as y'all know, I've been under the weather for about 3 months. I ain't turned anything since December the 19th. And we hope we're out of the hump and everything's going to work out okay. But the last thing I turned where all this incident come about was this live edge oak bow.
Oh my.
Yeah. And
very nice.
Look at the shine on that.
That's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of finish you got on that?
That's lacquer. It's 50-50 lacquer buffed. And I don't know. I've been using lacquer forever. I just get quicker, better finishes. When I used to do production turning, I could turn more things out because lacquer dried so fast. And so that's just what I've always used. I've tried other stuff, but I like the lacquer better. makes it 50.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Mhm.
Beautiful.
Me three.
So I may have to start digging through my archives to show and tell here in the future for a little while. But appreciate all your thoughts and prayers for what I went through.
Good to
No
see you.
problem, my
open
friend.
up.
No problem.
Yeah.
So
we know
are you
how
still
long-
restricted from turning?
No, it's not. And you know, y'all who don't know, I had a collapsed lung, then an infected lung, and they said it had nothing to do with wood turning, woodworking, or anything. Just one of them things happens. And then, you know, worse come in, it got affected. After being in 3 weeks here this month, we got out a couple of days ago. Got to go through about 2 weeks of antibiotics. And by
Oh,
gosh,
goodness.
that I'm going to get back at it. So
I
thank
didn't hear
you,
about the infection. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. It's another bend in the road, huh?
Yeah.
like
Well, I'm
we're doing
glad
going
you're on
through
the
what-
mend, my friend. Very glad you're on the mend.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you, thank you,
Right.
thank you.
Back out there turning soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, we got one last entry trying to sneak his way in here. Thank you, Joaquin. That was a beautiful
right.
piece.
Okay.
We're gonna go to Gary because we're already past closing time,
Yep.
Gary. So make it
Uh-oh.
fast.
Wrap
I'll
it
make
up.
it quick. This was
You're
a fun
fine.
little project. It's a pewter rimmed bowl.
Aha.
Ambrosia maple.
Yeah, ambrosia maple. Grooved
So
it out.
how'd you do the pewter?
Grooved it out. Actually, it's about a 3/8 inch wide groove, and then I put just a narrow cutoff tool about another 1/4 of an inch deep to make a T-shaped groove, and poured the pewter, and then turned the whole thing out.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's really cool, Gary.
Yes, it is.
And then added a little burn line on it, and this, that, and the other. But it's a fun project, and it's not hard to melt the pewter.
No, it's not.
How
It,
much pewter do you estimate being in that rim there, Gary?
Probably got I don't know. It made the bowl pretty darn heavy.
About 3 ounces.
Quarter of a pound.
It's about
Quarter of a
3/8,
pound.
a quarter. It's about a 1/4 of an inch by about 3/8. So it's a fair amount. I think I've melted two billets that were made out of in a cast iron cornbread muffin pan. Has the holes in it about like that.
Yeah.
Makes cornbread
Yeah.
muffins. There were pucks that had been poured in those that were about maybe an inch thick. I think I melted 2 of those.
It's
Yeah,
probably about five
that's
ounces.
exactly what I do with my pewter when I've melted it down. I'm doing that yesterday. So yeah,
Will an electric
Cornbread
lead
muffin.
pot melt pewter?
yes.
Cool.
I'm doing
'Cause
it
I
on
think I have one.
I'm doing it on a standard hot plate. Pewter melts between 340 and 460 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's got a very low melting point. I'm doing it with a little hot plate. No flames, no
Cool.
torches, nothing. So
I've got a lead pot for casting my own bullets, so that might be
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
that will work. That will work just fine. That's what they
That'll work
recommend.
great because pewter's just about what, Matt, 25 degrees above lead, 25 or 50 above it. So they're
it's
very
real
close
close.
Lower
together.
temperature than lead, but it does depend on the alloy to what the melting temperature
Well, that's
is.
true. There's different alloys are different. Actually, I go to the thrift stores and buy pewter pieces, and I bought one pewter tankard mug that I wasn't able to melt.
So it was probably aluminum then.
I took a blowtorch to it and finally got it to melt, but it wasn't pewter.
Yeah, it's probably
They've
aluminum,
got
like you said.
They've got an aluminum alloy out there that's made to look like pewter, so they're making these things, and they've got this specialized alloy. It's got some of the same ingredients in it, but it's got aluminum in it, which dramatically increases the melting temperatures.
Temperature, yeah.
So, but it's supposed to look like pewter, and of course it's harder than pewter is too. So pewter you can mark with your thumbnail, so it's that soft.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
I'll
it's
use,
fun. It's fun little project. I started out. I roughed the bowl out to about 3/4 of an inch, and then cut my grooves in the top to accept the pour, and poured it, and then went back and thinned it out to do some. It's fun little project.
Yeah, very cool, Gary. I'm in the middle of doing that right now with some of my pieces, so it's very timely.
Yep. All right. Be interesting
All right.
to see yours next week.
Well, if you've been hanging out the last couple of weeks, I showed it, so it's on my
That's
Facebook
right.
page.
You
so-
did. You had
Yeah.
several, the pewter base and the lid and the rim in it. Yep.
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 So, but the next, I got more ambitious projects, bigger and so on. So
Okay, great.
very cool. Okay, well, that's all I've got. So, Dane, we're going to go back to you.
All right, sweet. All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up. We've had quite a long evening. Not a bad meeting, a lot of good gallery.
And a good demo. Thank you, Dane.
Well,
Yes,
thank you. I
Dane.
was going to say the jury's still out on the demo, but
Great
I'll
demo tonight.
take it. I'll take it. You know, I
Hey,
had
you didn't throw a tool off. You didn't throw the piece off. You didn't break anything. You know, nobody. There's no blood. You know.
profanity.
That's
I even
right.
tried. You know, I tried to set myself up for all that. You know, knock on wood.
That's right. I counted a raging success, Dane. So
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Right out. Yeah, I'll take it. So with that, you know, those that are still here, I appreciate everybody coming out for the meeting. Same place, same time next week. For those that I will be keeping the meeting open. So for those that want to hang out and be a part of the after hours, all I do is ask that you put your camera on and take part in the conversation. Otherwise, if you want to pop off now without saying goodbye or saying goodbye, you know, now's your opportunity, and we will see you next week.